Garden. Good morning, man. Happy hump day. Is it hump day? Yeah, man. Happy hump day. Good morning. Man, look at the family growing on here. Miss Darlene, good morning to you. Adrian, I see you guarded. You the guy. David C, what up, boy? Grace, Nasio, Paul Wowley. Somebody, somebody asked me, is that the real Paul Wall? I said, look at that boy face. Right? Isaiah Archie, my frat brother. What up, Lady J? Jessica Mel, the newly dipped Mel. You feel different, Mel? Riri, what's up? My baby here. Yaku made it. Yaku said he wasn't gonna make it. Look at God. Cardiac, my brother for life. That's my boy. All right, man. Listen, I was this close to saying, y'all know what? I'm sleeping in this morning. I was this close. A lot of stuff going on. Yesterday, the word was so good. Let me back this camera. Yesterday was the word was so good. Um, I was almost on some competition. What up, Harvey G? You back? Harvey, we got to do the show this week. I think we do. Um, Yesterday, the word was when I tell you, I feel like one of the best words I've preached to myself. Right. If you missed yesterday's word, let me go to these notes. Yesterday's word, um, I called it while the storms in our life work in our favor, right? Right. And so today I was just like, man, God, give me a continuation from that. If you missed it, I believe it's up on the YouTube. I think it's up on the YouTube already. If not, we got a whole catalog to put up on the YouTube joint. Um, so it's been really good. So today I kind of want to continue with that because we own this trust. I want to say, I almost feel like a pastor and want to say, man, we own this trust series. All right, what's up, Ariana? What's happening? Uh, who name I didn't say? Erica, did I say your name? Phil, you made it through. What's happening? Riri. All right. So I want to stay in this trust in God and the favor He got on our life more than the control that we have. I kind of want to stay on that joint. But let's go to our Lord and Savior first and foremost. Father God, thank you. Thank you for this another day, God, another opportunity before we step outside the four walls or before we start life and to go to you. God, it feels so good to um, get a worship song in, all right, putting you first in our life, God, and then just getting a word of motivation, inspiration, and healing through your presentation. God, I ask you to maximize the message, minimize me as a messenger, minimize us as messengers, God, and allow us to share and grow. Let this word carry throughout the day. Let it carry throughout the day. We say these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Man, today, all right, so um, yesterday we was talking about why the storms in our life are in our favor. And I promise that song that we was playing was from Transformation Church. That song played it on here. I played it in my car yesterday. Last night I was cleaning up around the house. I was playing that joint. And sometimes, man, y'all know how like I don't know about y'all. Sometimes when I go to bed at night and I dream, one, I dream in color, right? Two, um, it's usually stuff that's happened to me throughout the day in some form of fashion, kind of, and then mixed with my crazy personality is how I get my dreams. But I did learn this, man. When you start pouring into more of one category in your life, like if you watch basketball all night, you line to have a basketball dream, right? Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm always dreaming about football for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, all right, but um, yesterday was so full filled with the Holy Spirit. I'm at work, we talking about it, right? And I always said, man, if our life was a pie graph or pie chart, some of our youngsters don't know what a pie chart look like. I want majority of that pie to be spirit related, and then some a good piece of it to be sports related. But I don't want none of the drama related or the stress related on the pie, right? Right. But I do want my conversations to be spirit led. I want my movements, my thoughts, what I'm pouring into my life. Not that I don't watch movies or even listen to trap music, right? But just the majority of my life, I wanted to be more spirit led. Today, I wanted to talk about the art of letting go, right? Art of letting go, right? Y'all ever notice, Adrian? You ever notice when we truly let go something, we truly release it, right? Release the situation that we've probably been worried about, Darlene. That's when it finally starts to work out for us. Y'all ever just notice that? When you just finally say, you know what? It's gonna be, it is what it is, right? That's when it usually, whatever drama or the peak position or whatever, just kind of cease after you just be like, you know, listen, I don't care. Whatever happened, happened. Right? You kind of just let go. But as long as we be holding on and trying to do stuff with our power and make moves and manipulate and convince, it's a struggle. Right? Right? I put this down. That's because the breakthrough for whatever we waiting on or working through, it doesn't come from us trying and striving, but it comes from us surrendering. Right? Surrendering to God is where I really want to go to that. So if you missed yesterday's message, yes or no? Cardiac, it worked like Erica, it worked like that for you? Nacio, when you finally be like, you know what? Do what you're gonna do. Fire me. I don't care. Like when you just truly let go, right? That's when you get a peace over your life, right? Not that you don't care, but you're surrendering. Yo, man, it's bigger than me. I ain't gonna argue with you. You got it. Click. That's me. But don't do that, right? Right. Yesterday we was talking about the overall premise of a believer. I'm gonna so for people that missed it yesterday, I'm gonna do this part again from yesterday. Microphone is open, chat line is open, right? And I'm gonna read you what I wrote, but hold on, I have a hard time letting go. One of my biggest struggles. Not after today. First off, Ignacio, we're gonna quit saying. We're not gonna even say it. It's one of my biggest. Man, we letting that thing go. It ain't even on the page no more, right? Yes. All right. So what's the overall premise of being a believer? We put it in our Instagram, follower of Christ, believer, hashtag, right? What's the overall premise? I know I wrote mine yesterday. I'm gonna read the ones I wrote, but we can write it in the chat again. What's the overall premise? Somebody yesterday said obedience. A few things. Faith, right? The overall premise of why we believe in God, why we call ourselves a Christian, why we call ourselves a follower or a believer, right? What's the overall point, right? Yesterday, I wrote, most of us, low key, turn our life over to God so that he can take our burdens away. I am a believer in God because I want him to take my issues away. Yes. Anybody? I'm on your street yet? I wrote, we give our life to Christ so that the things that used to bother us, our hangups, our addictions, the ugly side of us, right, could go away. They don't bother us no more. Yes. And then something else started to bother you after that, but whatever, right? Some of us give up, give in, become a believer, right? Only to obey God, right? So that we don't have to struggle no more. All right, God, I don't want to struggle no more. I'm on your team, right? Then I wrote this yesterday, and I put this in bold yesterday. If we're being honest, if we could be honest on this Zoom, right? A lot of our claims, air quotes, of having faith and trust in God is our low-key way to try to get our way with God. Manipulation at its finest. Yes or no? We said that yesterday too, Jen. Some of us just like, listen, I ain't going to hell, so I'm on your team, God. Right? That's true, right? But I put that down. If we being honest, right? A lot of our claims and follows and trust in God is our way to actually try to get our way from God. Right? I wrote this example down yesterday. All right, God, I'm gonna let you have your way. Maybe that's how we sound. I'm sounding like that, right? All right, God, I'm gonna let you have your way, but you gotta come through on this job that I'm praying for you about. All right, God, you get me out of this one, I'm on your team. I'll be at church Sunday. Or I'm going to church Sunday, God. I'm doing what you say so that Monday I can get this approval on this house. Sound like us yet? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I've only tried to cut a deal with God, right? Right. So that was yesterday. Today, my first question was, how do we have a sincere surrender? Paul Wall, I hope this is going to help you, bro. I really hope this is going to help you. All right. How do we truly let go? How do we have a sincere surrender? Just like I started with, a lot of us get to that point and say, man, I headed up to here. I'm done. You got it. Is that sincere, or that's just really just giving up? Right? And then we'd be like, I just surrendered it to God. No, you kind of just quit, right? How do we have a sincere, God, you got my life. God, you have ordered my steps, and I'm not moving until I have this conversation with you. How do we have it? Anybody? Right? I put this down. Microphone's open if you want to talk to, by the way. I put this down. When we are in situations we don't like, anybody ever been in a situation they don't like? Sure, yes, right? Our first default response to that joint is usually, let me get control of this situation. God dog it. Let me get in front of this situation. Let me try to control what I control. Let me make this phone call. Let me smooth it out. Default. Yes. Natural. Don't feel guilty. That's all of us. Something happened. Let me go take care of this right quick. Right? I wrote this down, and this is being real Christian, Marcus. Inez, this might be you. Isaiah, hopefully, Jessica, Mel, Phil. When we do that, we're leaving little room for God to do what God do, or God to do God things, right? We leave little space for God to do what we can't. Instant reaction. And it's normal, right? Some you get a phone. I got it. Let me just wait. Let me just get control of the situation. Hands up. Go ahead, Mel.
Got two things and talking about for both things. So this past Sunday, right after my baptism, we had a special speaker, and she used to be a member of the church when I was a young girl, real young. She didn't even remember me. But at the end of the service, prayer call, the altar had an altar call. I didn't go to the altar. But she was like, before we get started, I need to talk to these people. She went to talk to my little brother and his girlfriend. And then she was like, I'm talking to the lady in pink, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, it's all of us in pink. But she came to me, and one of the things she told me was that God has a calling on your life, but you have to trust God more. You have to open up your heart and trust Him all the way. And she was talking to me. She was talking to me because I had already been struggling with things going on in my life right now. So that when you just said I had to tell y'all that was just happening to me. We have to trust God in all things, even just like with my situation. I do owe God an apology because when he gets on here and he's so transparent and he's talking about being depressed, I always say, "Oh Lord, he must don't trust God." But I talked about me being depressed all the time. Even me and Ty was talking about the other day that I still see a therapist, and I was like, I'm all the way together. And then when she said that, it put a spotlight because I'm thinking about all the times that I be sitting here. I'm still sitting here. Sometimes that I be thinking I'm just waiting to die. That's one of the reasons why I want to hurry up and be baptized, because I'm like I can die any minute, so that's a sign of depression. It didn't even dawn on me that I was going through all the those feelings until she said it. She called it out, and it just clicked right in my head, and I just started praying right then because I know. So that was one thing. That and I do apologize regarding for because that was judgment and it was uncalled for. Even though you didn't know about it, I'm telling you about it. I apologize because that makes you a strong person to recognize it and to speak on it. That's number one. And number two, I'm sorry,
Eh,
Marcus, what you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say, let me get through these notes.
Oh,
Right? No,
number
no.
two.
I mean, but no, you know what? No, go ahead, Holy Spirit. Number two, go ahead.
No, number two was when you talk about the what do you want to do? I Why do you accept Christ? Let me tell you the reason why I rededicated my life. I thought that I was Christian all of these years growing up. I was all through the church, and then I found out that I wasn't a Christian because I died more than 13 times on the table and they resuscitated me. And when I came back, I was a renewed Christian. I did rededicate my life to Christ. I called everybody apologizing because I knew what I knew. Because when I died, y'all, even though I was in church, I was praising God, I was doing anything, I went to hell. I went to hell and came back. Um, and that's a whole nother testimony I'm gonna have to share with y'all one day. But God is real. And we can't live halfway in and halfway out. We have to serve him. We have to commit ourselves to him. We have to focus on him. We have to trust him totally. Obedience is the key. Obedience is the key. Obedience. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Appreciate it, Mel. And thank y'all for letting her have the space to get that off. So one, leave space for God to be God, right? Right? Let God blow our mind. We're talking about letting go today, right? I wrote this down. True power does not come from control, right? True power comes from surrendering, right? So here we go. What does it mean to surrender? What does it mean to surrender for real, right? Most of us, when I say surrender, we think give up. Yes, yes. We think wave the white flag. Yes, yes. Right? We think of losing something that's overcome us. I surrender. You win. You got it. Yes, yes. Maybe it's just me. When I think of surrender, that's the first thing I think about. All right. Right. In the kingdom, in this kingdom conversation, surrender means victory. Weird, right? Flip it. Surrender means victory. Let me tell you how. Because now when we surrender, we no longer have to be in battle no more. I won. Surrender and kingdom talk mean victory. We no longer in battle. Guess why? Because God is in battle for us. Yeah, you've been hearing that. Let's break it down, right? Check it out. Let's break it down, right? Battle is not yours, it's the Lord's, right? We heard it, scripture, song, right? In this world of want to be a boss or entrepreneur or a leader, right? Right? The overall, and it ain't everybody's heart, but the overall thing is when I'm the boss, I got others working for me. The resources come in and I get paid to do less work, right? Right? Check me when I'm wrong. When you the boss, people work for you, right? We surrender our lives as leadership, not our own. You better preach, girl, right? Right? So if that's the case, if we on some worldly stuff and the boss has underbosses or people who work for them who do the work, put the boots on the ground, get in them streets for you, your shooters, right? Right? Your goons, right? Because the boss don't do that, right? We call that a win. I get to sit back and make the phone calls and you go do it. You fight that battle. I'm going to sit here and let me know what happened after. That's winning in the world. So why we got to struggle letting God fight the battle? Surrender. Why do we want to even control the fight? God on you, I got it. God like, no, I got this for you. Nah, I got it. What's that struggle? Because in the world, we don't want to do nothing. But in the faith, we want to control everything. Let's flip that, right? Did y'all ever think about it that way? Right? When we surrender to God, you're giving way to victory, not defeat. That was one of the points I wanted to make, right? And I put this down. As long as we start to think that surrender means to lose, we're going to forever try to control it, try to manipulate it, try to finesse our way through a situation instead of just leaving room for God. As long as we think surrender means lose, right? As long as we think that we're going to forever try to quickly take control of every situation and I own it, I got it, don't worry about it, I'll fix it. Yes, yes? Right? Put it like this, God got a better way. God's way is greater every time. If we from the hood, it's every time, right? Right? Even, here's the scary part, even in situations where you don't get what you want. That part, right? God got a better way every time, even in the situations when you don't get what you want, right? Anybody? Yes, yes, maybe it's just me. Maybe it ain't you, Jessica. Melinda, this cannot be you. Ty, Yakub, this is not you, but just me. Have y'all ever been so thankful you didn't get something that you was praying and begging and wanting? Sip on my tea, playing with me. Anybody who's like, what? I'm so glad I didn't. We try to call that dodging the bullet. Okay. Lord, let me God, if I can only, if with please, Lord, I'm on my knees, I'm crying. And then later find out, I am so glad, God, that you wasn't even hearing my little raggedy prayer on that one. You knew better than me. Yes, yes. Guess what? Anytime that we want to control everything, dear people, Phil, Riri, right? Darlene, anytime you want to control everything, the real root of that, and I'm talking to me right now, is fear. Fear that God is not going to be there. Fear that God gonna let me down. Fear that God gonna take too long. That's what it is. Me and Ty, this whole week, conversation started with have a good day. Ty, have a good day. Um, um, this whole thing started when me and Ty was just talking about, and we being transparent. Ty, you don't mind me. You always miss transparent, so I know you don't mind. We was talking about the podcast studio's landlord came in, right? And we was like, oh Lord, he about to tell us we behind on the rent. He about to lock these doors. And we had one spirit like, man, do what you do, bro. And then we just started talking. He came in, this man came in like, hey, we love what y'all doing. Do you want to sign another lease? How am I behind on the rent? And you telling me, say, bro, please stay. That ain't nobody but God. As long as I'm stressing and trying to hide from him and do this, do that, it's a struggle. As soon as you say, God, you got it. And if God done told you, Riri, Phil, Mel, Melinda, Jessica, Jen, Isaiah, Inez, if God has told you in the beginning, I got you, go, my boy, right? Like we were talking about yesterday, yes, the wind might be crazy. Kids might be acting up, money might be funny. They probably gonna close the doors. But if God said, I got you, what's the fear about? Even if we don't get our way. If the doors close, we still win. Feel me? I'm getting excited about this. Right? It's rooted in fear. Fear that God not gonna come through. No, he coming through. It might not be the way you want, but he coming through. Right? Fear that, oh, he gonna take too long. No, I put you in this situation. I birthed you with this gift to speak. I birthed you with the ability to do whatever your thing is. I gave you this gift. I got you. So let us surrender. Paul Wally, hope to help you a little bit. Galatians 5:4, because I ain't gave you no scripture. Adrian, I need you right here. I need you right here, Adrian. Galatians 5:4. Bible says this is not your boy. I'm not that deep. Bible says this, Galatians 5:4. You want to be deep? Put this on your social media today. If you are trying to make yourselves right with God, keeping the law, you've been cut from Christ. Did I say that wrong? Yeah. If you are trying to make yourselves right with God by keeping the law, you have been cut out from Christ if you've fallen away from God's grace. If you're trying to do everything yourself, right? Hope I said that right because I wrote it super early this morning, right? Drop that on there. Thank you, Adrian. There go the scripture right there. Right? Trying to control matters only God can control. You pushing God further away. I'm trying to break that down. That's what I wrote when I wrote Galatians 5:4 in my own and the Blessed Beast Bible term. Trying to control matters only God can control. We pushing ourselves further away from God. Because God is like, I got it. And you like, stay over there. I got it. God like, I got it. You like, stay over there. I ain't calling you today. I got it. Then we get in trouble and be like, where God is? See, it ain't no God. That's us, right? So how do we surrender? How do we surrender? Real talk, y'all. How do we surrender? First, we got to recognize that holding on, right? Or what we holding on to. Thank you, Blessed Beast Bible version. If you're trying to be God, you can keep God from being God. Yep. Right? How do we surrender? First, we got to recognize whatever we holding on to that needs to be released, or whatever we trying to force to happen, or whatever we trying to control, we ain't got no control over. First things first. How do we let it go? How do we surrender? First, we got to realize none of this mine. Even your little money. It ain't, none of it is ours. My greedy people, right? Right? When we trying to force stuff and control stuff and gimme, push, right? When we trying to be that, this stuff leads to areas in our life marked by, first things first, frustration. Anybody ever been frustrated? It ain't going your way? I'm guilty. It's just not going how I want it to go. Frustrated. I ain't got no power of the situation. So guess what? It leads to number 2, anger or sadness or depression or anxiety. Y'all get to God. It's going to be what it's going to be, right? When we trying to hold on, control, right? Manipulate, finesse, and it don't go our way, frustrated, fed up. Thank you, Jessica. We ain't got no power. Nobody listen to me, right? That's how we be sounding. Now we sad. Man, I just ain't feeling it today. Or we mad. I'm talking to me, y'all. I ain't talking to nobody on this Zoom because y'all don't live like that. Y'all just give everything to God. I need to get to where y'all at. Yes, yes, right? Here's a good example of that. Here's a good example of that. Love. Love is a good example of us trying to hold on, make somebody, control. Yes, love is a good example. Here's how love is the good example. You can't make nobody love you. You can't buy them enough stuff. You can't cook enough. You can't do nothing to make somebody love you. They got to wake up every day and say, I want to love you. Facts or not? Thank you, babe. Love is the best example of, hey, man, let God be God. Do you. And if boo like you, or if the job like you, you good. I can't go in there and be early enough every day. Because when they want to let me get them out, right? Love is a choice. Same thing with our relationship with God. God can say, I'm God, I'm gonna make you serve me. He love us so much, he say, do you, I just want you to love me. I want this relationship. I want you to want me. It's a choice. If it wasn't a choice, you wouldn't have atheists running around here, right? Here's two common ways, right? 2, drop the number 2. 2 ways. And then I was in my bag this morning on this one because I wasn't gonna, right? He want us to want him without the force. Big facts. 2 common ways. Drop the number 2. 2 ways that we try to control stuff versus or over surrender. 2 ways. Our actions and our words. With our actions, Jessica Cardiac, we think we can do stuff with our own strength and get what we want. with our actions, right? I just talked about that. Something happened, pew, I got it. Don't worry, let me make this phone call. Yep, right? With our actions. I know one thing, when we say actions, people start thinking faith without faith without works is dead. Yes, yes. Meaning get busy, get action. But I'm talking about when we try to control stuff with our actions, translation, you doing it without God. You skipping the faith part. You get to work without God. Trying to control it versus surrender. Yes, yes. Now, that faith without work, some people gonna be like, I'm just gonna have faith and I ain't gonna do nothing. All right. That's a whole nother, that's another morning meetup, right? Right? But I'm talking about when you do it outside of God, that's your way of trying to control or finesse or manipulate the situation, right? Here's a good example of that. Ladies, I was being very petty when I thought about it. I was actually laughing when I was writing. Ladies, y'all ever try to get out of a ticket? Tell the truth. Y'all ever bat your eyes a little bit? Great, there you go. Try to be snarky and funny and cute and kiki. Not the ticket part. Ty ain't gonna call you out. You said I could tell. Never mind. Right? And then you get mad when the officer ain't feeling you. Man, ma'am, take this ticket. You like, clown, forget that. Cops ain't nothing. You done tried to take it. You done, or start crying. Thank you, Mel. Right? Oh, I feel you. I feel you, Melinda. These days, we just be scared. Give me the tickets so I can go. Please, hurry. Write 2 tickets if I can leave. Right? I feel you. Right? But yeah, that's a good example of us trying to do it our own way and it don't work. Now we mad, right? Versus how many times y'all have in any situation, not even the ticket situation, you go in there and just tell people how it is. Look, sir, money tight and I don't have your money. Or I'm just gonna go in here and tell them like it is, and whatever happened, God gonna let happen. And it usually turn out for some reason, here comes some mercy. For some reason, here comes some grace. Is it me? Anybody ever just said, man, listen, I'm just gonna go in here and tell them I'm late because tell them, man, I ain't got it, dog. I lost this, right? Here, let's go to another scripture. Now, see, I hope this helping you. Psalms 46. If you're new to the Bible, like I always say, put Psalms. Some of y'all pronounce the L in salmon, so whatever. Psalm 46:10. Drop it on there, Adrian. Psalm 46:10. Bible says this. Bible says this. Bible better than Netflix, by the way. Bible is better than your Netflix. Get in it. Psalm 46:10. Be still. Melinda, I mean, it don't say Melinda or Jessica. It don't say be still, Phil. But it say be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted within the earth. Adrian, drop that on there. Inez, you on here? Drop that on there. Blessed Be's Bible version. Surrendering can mean be still. Don't move. Let God be God. We talked about it yesterday. We was talking about Peter leaving it out and his version of the story. And Matthew told the whole thing. Peter said, yo, God, is that you? God said, come on out here. Come on. He got out there, started walking on the water, was doing good, started looking around, saw the wind, saw the storm, saw everything started to sink, took his eyes off of God. We know that story. Yes, yes, right? Right? Wind is too much for him. Your wind around you, Riri, is too much for you, right? Peter wanted the fastest way out of the situation. God save me is some of our fastest way out of this uncomfortable, this pain, this situation. Anybody ever called out to God and said, God, just get me out of this? And some of us forget that God said, go through this. Hey, man, y'all go over there. Y'all go that way. Right? Right? But we got to know sometimes even in the pain that we're going through, right? Yaku, even in the distress and the uncomfortable times, if God said go through it, we just gotta do like the rest of the disciples and sit there and then be amazed when God get in the boat and the wind go down. Yes, yes. We talked about that yesterday. It's off my nose, right? Sometimes we gotta know God is God. Be still. Yes, yes, that situation can get uncomfortable. Harvey, David, Darlene, it is uncomfortable right now. But sometimes if God said go, it's gonna get uncomfortable. But we must rest in his promises. If God said start the business, start the business. He ain't say start the business and worry about if it's gonna be a Fortune 500. He said start the business. You start the business and going out of business, you might look at it as a failure, but now you got wisdom to tell somebody else to start their business and their business make $100 million. God gonna bless you. Right? I'm off my notes. Yes, it can get uncomfortable in some of these situations. Right? Rest in his promises. Again, I'm always gonna do this. Put this in bold. If God told you to, Cartier, Adrian, if God said go, not I see my neighbor or somebody done walked up to me and told me if I sign up 10 people for this business, yo, if God done told you to. Not that I saw somebody on IG say, hey man, quick way you can make some, and you jump on it, then mad that you spent your $89.99 trying to get in and take the, let me stop. Thank you, Inez, if God said so, right? Here, all right, that's with our actions. Let me go through. I'm already 2 minutes into it. I got 2 minutes left. The other kind of way that we try to control, right? Instead of surrender. One was our actions. Number two, this is all of us with our words. This part. We try. Who ain't never tried to control something with their mouth? Who got some game? Who got a mouthpiece? Who got the gift of gab? This one is for you, Marcus. Right? Our words. Sometimes we feel like we can talk our way into anything, talk our way out of something, skip the line because we can talk. Yo, anybody? Maybe it's just me. I'm the only one think I can say some stuff and right. Here we go. Exodus 14:14. I'm in the book. I'm in the book. Exodus 14:14. Who knew when they woke up this morning they were gonna be in the book of Exodus this morning? The Lord will fight for you, Grace. I mean, you don't say Grace. That's one of your favorites, but things we learned today. I didn't know that. Let's have a conversation. The Lord will fight for you. You only gotta be silent. Adrian, give me a Blessed Beast Bible version of that, because you good at them. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be quiet. Adrian gonna say, watch this. Blessed Beast Bible version, shut up, stupid. No, I don't say that, right? Sometimes we just gotta stop talking. Yo, I'm not arguing with you, right? Let God fight our battles. Be still and let him cook. See, Adrian, you're a G at this. I love it. I love it. Let God cook, man. Let him cook. Youngsters be saying, let me cook. I feel you, right? Sometimes we got to let God fight them battles. Sometimes we got to let God defend us. Sometimes we got to let God vindicate us, free us. Yes, yes. Sometimes when you know what you know, shh, keep talking. Right? Man, listen. Right? Sometimes when we don't trust God, right, we try to take matters into our own hands. We try to go around, let me prove myself. Let me prove to you that you're wrong. Right? Sometimes we just got to trust God. Bro, I know. I know what I am. I know who I am. I know what's been done. I know this. I know that. Yo, let God do that. Quit trying to control it, because now I'm in off my nose. I'm in the courtroom of life. I'm trying to make a point. You trying to make a point. You trying to make a sale. I'm trying not to buy. Come on, man. Stop trying to prove yourself on every point or trying to point out stuff, right? Right? Here's the truth I'm leaving us with. Here's some truths. I had to write this down. And this is why I was late bringing the song on here. Here's the truth. Here's some truths. One, God cares for me. God cares for you, Jessica. Ty, God cares for you. Regardless, if you get what you want or not, God cares for you. He got a plan for you. Number two, God not gonna forget us. Anybody ask to be here? Did anybody ask to be here? How'd you do that part? Right? God ain't man, God brought us here. He's not gonna forget you. Crazy part is a lot of us forget him. Amen. All right. Here's another truth. God works in his way and in his timing. If he said do it, yo, do that. If he said do it, do that. Yes, God can be trusted. This is why his way is better than my way. A lot of times when we don't trust God, can say, man, listen, the prize right there. But since you don't believe me, you can go that way. You're going to eventually get here or not, but it's right there. Right? Now, you might have to go through hell and high water to get there. But if he said, go, go. Last one, God can do better than I can every time. All right? Every time for some of us. Yes, yes. I'm a little bit over. Father God, thank you for allowing us to bring the word. Thank you, Melanie, for bringing your word to the word, God. Thank you for us listening and taking the time out before we start our day to try to get more of you into our lives, God. Thank you for this morning meetup. God, we just only ask that it actually grows and let us just stay pure and of the word and of the word only. God, thank you for the motivation, the inspiration, and the entertainment of it. Let us be hearers of this word. Or not only be hearers, but doers also of the word. We say these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Microphone's open. We're a little bit over. Sorry.
All right, Marcus, two things. Y'all bear with my voice. My voice is kind of gone because of the weather.
Cause she used, I'm just playing.
Whatever. God, you was all over my notes this morning in my devotion, but I wanted to touch base on the part I believe you spoke on, not trusting in God and trying to take matters into our own hand. Part of my devotion this morning was in regards to God had me reflecting on Sarah. And Sarah tried to take matters into her own hands by telling Abraham to go and lay with her handmaid because she wasn't trusting God enough to provide a child for her because she was in a season of barren. And so instead of her waiting on the Lord for him to provide what he said, she brought destruction from so many different angles. Okay, her heart got hurt behind the fact that her husband laid with another woman, which she told him to, right? Then you also got to look at the aspect of it was disobedience to God because you wasn't waiting on him, knowing he told you he would bless you with a child. And then it was from an aspect, and I'm saying all this because it all relates to when we don't wait on God to come through or when we try to take matters into our own hands, right? And so not only that, the blessing of what they were supposed to receive got delayed to 23 years later. And even though at the time when God came back and told her that he would still bless her, Ishmael was around 13 at the time. But I said all that to say this: when you don't wait on God and you taking matters into your own hands and you're trying to do it yourself, you're bringing more destruction. Not only are you bringing destruction, you're delaying the promise, you're delaying what's supposed to be for you. And it does not mean that you're not going to receive it, because they still received their blessing. But what could have been sooner it ended up being delayed because you wanted to take matters into your own hand. So that's all I wanted to share from that note. And then last thing, Marcus, I just want to touch base on Blessed Beats. If anybody is interested in helping out for the 8-day campaign, it's November 17th through the 24th. Please send me an email with your first and last name, your email address, your contact information, and just note down in that email, I'm interested in being a volunteer. That's it.
My bad. I was writing the email address down. Anybody else?